It's now 6 o'clock, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'm James Whiteman. I'm standing in tonight for Director Scott Binder, who is unable to attend in person. However, he is attending through Zoom. Hi, Scott.
Hey,
Hey.
thank you for standing in.
I appreciate the opportunity. Joy, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Director Mayo is joining right now as a panelist and should be joining us as well. Give him 2 seconds to log in here. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and move along. All right. Director Bender,
Here,
Director Beitman,
Here.
Director Orsini,
Here.
Director Couch. Here. And Director Bender is joining us remotely this evening. He is at a conference, which is justified under AB 2449. And Director Bender, is there anyone over the age of 18 in the room with you?
there's no one else in the room, so no.
Thank you for verifying.
Okay. I'd also like to recognize that Kirsten Messmer is online with us this evening. It is Kirsten. Right? Yeah, okay. Glad you're here, Kirsten.
He's gone.
Right on here? Okay. Greg, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance,
I
please?
would be honored. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
At this point, I'll call for any additions or changes to the agenda. Items may be added to the agenda in accordance with the section 54954 of the Government Code, the Brown Act, upon determination by a 2/3 vote of the members of the legislative body present at the time of the meeting, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those members present. That there is a need to take immediate action and a need for action came to the attention of the McKinleyville Community Services District after the agenda was posted. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
There are no additions to the agenda. There has been discussion of moving the closed session discussion, item A5, to the end of the agenda.
Okay. Do I hear any objections to moving item A5 to the end of the agenda?
I'll move item A5 to the end of the agenda.
I'll second that.
May we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Director Bender,
Yes,
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
and Director Orsini.
Yes.
Okay. We will move item A5, a closed session, to the end of the agenda for this evening's meeting. This evening, we have no public hearings, so we'll move on to,
I think we do still need to approve the rest of the agenda.
say again, please.
We do need to approve the rest of the agenda, the last
Okay.
motion.
We have to approve the agenda.
Okay, Let's have a motion to approve the rest of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to item B. I'm sorry, public hearings. We have no public hearings scheduled for this evening. And we did not add one to the agenda. So from there, we move to item C, which is public comment and written communication. And I'll read this. Any person may address the board at this time upon any subject not identified on this agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the McKinleyville Community Services District. However, any matter that requires action will be referred to staff for a report of action at a subsequent committee or board meeting. As to matters on the agenda, an opportunity will be given to address the board when that matter is considered. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and letters should be used for complex issues. Is there any public comment at this point? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is item D, the consent calendar. Consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial, to be acted upon by the board of directors at one time without discussion. If any board member, staff member, or interested person requests that an item be removed from the consent calendar, it shall be removed so that it may be acted upon separately. Do we have anybody wishing to remove an item for from the consent calendar for separate consideration? Hearing none, then I will call for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll move the consent calendar.
No second.
Okay. Joey, will you call the roll for a vote, please?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini.
Yes.
The next item, thank you all. The next item on the agenda is item E, which is continued in new business. We have 3 items on that. And the first is the introduction of new district staff members, and I'm going to call on Pat Kasperi to handle this introduction for us, please.
Thanks, and I'll defer to our Parks and Rec Director, Kirsten Mesmer.
Thank you. Over the past 6 months, the Parks and Recreation Department has undergone significant staffing changes. It is my pleasure to introduce the newest members of our team who have already embraced the challenges of their roles and seamlessly integrated into our workplace culture. Everyone can hear me fine, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mason Hooven joined us as a recreation coordinator on August 16, 2024, stepping into the position I vacated during my transition. Mason has already demonstrated impressive adaptability, managing a wide array of responsibilities, including facility and park rentals, overseeing programs such as Totletics, Playgroup, and the middle school dances, coordinating the newsletter and activity guide, and learning to provide backup support for the board secretary. A Humboldt County native, Mason recently graduated from Washington State University with a degree in sports management and a minor in business administration. His education and passion for recreation have made him a valuable addition to the team, and his family and friends are thrilled to have him back in the community. Owen Shumpart Quinlan joined us as a parks maintenance worker on August 1st, 2024. Owen has done an excellent job managing the Saturday swap crew, with his efforts clearly reflected in the beautifully maintained Central Avenue landscaping. He approaches additional tasks, such as hanging blinds or setting up the Hewitt Room for public meetings, with enthusiasm and skill. A Humboldt and Trinity County native, Owen, along with his wife and daughter and son, enjoy spending time outdoors, especially camping, adding to his strong connection to our community. Brendan Johnson, initially hired as a seasonal parks maintenance worker, transitioned to a full-time parks maintenance worker on December 1st, so just a few days ago, and we couldn't be more excited. Like Owen, Brandon has been doing an excellent job managing the Saturday swap crew and supporting board meeting setups. Originally from San Diego, Brandon moved to Humboldt County back in the early 2000s to attend Humboldt State University. After 15 years back in San Diego, he's returned to Humboldt with his 2 teenage sons, embracing our local lifestyle with hiking and soccer. His positive attitude and eagerness to contribute have made him an indispensable part of our team. As the board knows well, our staff are the district's most valuable asset. This group represents a small but vital cross-section of the incredible people who serve the district and the McKinleyville community. I cannot emphasize enough how fortunate we are to have such talented and committed individuals on our team. Staff recommends that the board review the material provided, take public comment, and meet our new staff.
Thank you, Kirsten. At this point, I'd like to call for the motion to approve this.
No action.
No action. There's no action. It's information only. I'm sorry. So it's not necessary. So on behalf of the board and everybody else, I'd like to express our gratitude to you for joining us and offering us your service. We're grateful to have you be part of our staff, and really look forward to working with you as we go forward. I'll invite welcoming comments from anybody else who would like to add to this.
Can I go?
Yes, please.
So did James tell you guys what you're going to have to do now, next? Yeah. Oh, just a song, no dancing and singing? Okay. Anyway, well, welcome, guys. I hope that your tenure with McKinleyville Community Services District is long and prosperous. Speaking as an employee that retired from the district, there's plenty of room for upward mobility, and it's a great place to work, and the family environment goes without saying there. So welcome to the team and to the family.
I'll go next.
Yeah, David,
So I
please.
was just walking along Central Avenue today, and I was going, wow, the landscaping is looking good. So I wanted to tell you guys that, because I was, going to write something in the McKinleyville online on Facebook, but it's better just to do it here. So anyway, welcome. One of the good things with public service is it may not pay as well as some other jobs, but if you can do it for a long time, it really does work out, because you can get your PERS retirement and all that good stuff. And I did that. I worked with the city of Arcata for 35 years, so, it's nice having having that PERS retirement as well as Social Security at my age. So you guys are all pretty young, and I would encourage you to go as long as you can. Thanks.
Anyone else? No? Pat?
I will chime in. These guys are 3 great additions to an already great staff, but they really have jumped in and, like Kirsten said, have already started to make their mark on the district. So yes, we're very lucky. We have a great staff, and we have great additions to the staff. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you all. Anyone else? Well, once again. Would any of you or all of you like to come forward and say anything? Like, gee, I'm glad to be here. Please. Yeah, please use the microphone, because otherwise the people who are online can't hear you.
Hello, everybody. Again, Brandon Johnson. We're good. So I'll speak on the behalf of Owen and Mason without their approval, but I won't say anything too controversial. But I just wanted to say thank you for the warm welcome. I've been here a few months. It's been a warm welcome from day one. It's definitely a family vibe, and I'm appreciative to be here. And yeah, but thank you for the warm welcome, and I guess that's it. Yeah. But I guess we'll leave you guys to all the fun stuff to the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Right.
Great, thank you.
This was the only fun thing for the meeting.
I'm hoping it's going to be a short meeting.
All right. Anyone else? I'll say it one more time. Sure glad you're part of the team. Thank you for being here. All right, we'll move on then to the next item on the agenda, which is item E2. And that's to consider, it's an action item, so therefore we will have a motion and vote on it. It's to consider approval of filing a notice of exemption for construction of the Fisher Lift Station seismic rehabilitation project. And I can turn to E2 someplace. Staff recommends that the board, or Pat, would you like to read that rather than have me do it?
Sure. Thank you, Director Beitman. As the board is aware, the district has been working on the retrofit of the existing building, electrical equipment, pumps, motors, and motor control center of the Fisher Sewer Lift Station. The main objective of this project is to seismically retrofit and upgrade the existing Fisher Station, which is the main wastewater lift station in McKinleyville. The Fisher Station receives all wastewater from the southern half of the district, consisting of a population of approximately 9,000 people. It also collects the overflow from the Hiller Lift Station when the wastewater flows are too high for Hiller to handle, or if the Hiller Station were to become disabled from an earthquake or shut down for other maintenance. The station's generator and automatic transfer switch were recently upgraded, along with the addition of a Tesla battery backup unit, and those will not need to be upgraded as part of this project. Most of the rest of the station will require upgrading, as it was built in the early 70s and therefore does not meet current building code, including the seismic requirements. This project is one of several the district is undertaking to increase the seismic resilience of its water and wastewater distribution system. These efforts include the 4.5 million gallon water tank project that currently is under construction, the McCluskey Tank Replacement Project that is currently in design, as well as the replacement of the water main from Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District under the Mad River, and the replacement of three sewer mains under Highway 101. The district was awarded funding through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA's, Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, administered by California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, or Cal OES, to design, permit, and construct this project. Grant requirements dictate that the project be divided into two phases, each with specific work activities. Phase 1 is currently funded in the amount of $269,220 and is limited to project activities to develop preliminary design documents and complete the environmental and cultural resource studies. Funding for Phase 2 includes the final design and construction and will be awarded when FEMA and Cal OES have reviewed the Phase 1 work and completed their NEPA review for this project. At the March 6, 2024 board meeting, the board awarded the engineering design and environmental services for this project to GHD Incorporated. GHD's Phase 1 activities included the preparation of a basis of design report and preliminary engineering design. They have submitted the basis of design report and the 30% design drawings for district review. Their work also consisted of a lead and asbestos assessment and report, a wetlands survey and biological assessment report, and a coastal development permit exemption submitted to Humboldt County. A geotechnical study was also performed to assess the subsurface characteristics and allow the structural engineer to calculate seismic forces and design retrofits for the building. All project components are categorically exempt from CEQA under Section 15301, paragraph B, for existing facilities, and Section 15302C, replacement or reconstruction. Section 15301B is applicable as the Fisher Lift Station and associated pipe, pumps, et cetera, are existing publicly owned sewage facilities. The facilities will be rehabilitated and/or replaced with no increase in capacity or expansion of use. Section 15302C is applicable as the Fisher Lift Station retrofit will involve reconstruction of the existing structures and a facility located on the same site with the same purpose and capacity as prior to the rehabilitation and / reconstruction. Given these findings, a notice of exemption for this project, which is included as attachment 1 to your board packets, should be filed with Humboldt County. So staff recommends that the board review the material provided and approve the filing of a notice of exemption or an NOE for the construction of the Fisher Lift Station seismic retrofit, and direct the general manager to sign and file the NOE with the Humboldt County clerk within 5 work days.
Call for, at this point, I think it's appropriate to call for a thank you for the reading and the explanation. I think it's appropriate at this point to call for a motion.
How about comment and questions?
I think, okay. Any comments, any questions?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, a couple of questions. So everything's pretty straightforward related to the fact that we won't need a county permit because it's a sewer lift station, so that we don't need a permit from the building department. It's pretty straightforward that we should be able to do a notice of exemption because it's an existing, and we're not going to be changing anything to where we need a mitigated negative deck or anything like that. What's your feeling about the coastal commission?
So it is in the local zone. So we have sent email to the county planning, and it sounds like they are going to approve an exemption. So
Okay.
I think we're 99%.
99%, yeah, how can you ever be sure when it comes to
Yeah.
the coastal permit? Yeah, that's all. That was my major thing. Everything else looked really straightforward on it, but the only wild card is the coastal permit, coastal development permit. So what are they gonna, I don't wanna get into the weeds too much because I know we're only at 30% design. What are they gonna do to the building? Because the building's filled with concrete and rebar.
Yeah,
What are they planning on doing to that? Because it's pretty hell-for-stout as it is.
yeah, they did a seismic assessment of it. There are a couple things. The beam that supports the crane needs some work to further restrain that. There's
That makes sense.
some of the rafters and roofing weren't really attached per detail, so they're gonna go in and retrofit those and further strengthen those. They are, one of the big seismic stuff is to restrain all the new piping and et cetera.
Yeah,
As well as where the pipe's going in and out of the building, put it in seismic joints for those pipes to allow them to move differentially when the building's moving different from the surrounding area.
right on. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Because we've had that building assessed 2 other times for seismic vulnerability, and it got those purlings in that roof got missed every single time.
Yep.
I'm glad we finally found them. I would hate to go there and have the roof all collapsed after a seismic event. One other question, what type, I'm gonna geek out here and then I'll shut up. What kind of pumps are we gonna go with this time?
We are gonna do 4 pumps. So currently there are 4 pumps. There's 2 30s and 2 100s.
200s, yeah.
And we are gonna stick with 4 pump system. Part of it is the basis of design we looked at, depending on how much you want to geek out here. We looked at replacing it with 3 identically sized VFD-driven pumps, which would have the advantage of you just have to buy parts for 1 pump.
Yeah.
But we ultimately decided to go with the 2 and 2, so we are gonna have 2 smaller pumps and 2 larger pumps. All of them VFD driven, so it should increase the efficiency. But the smaller pumps, we do wanna keep the station split into 2 separate systems, so we can shut down and maintain one half of the system completely and still run it and then switch
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, considering that you have two wet wells, it's probably a good
Yeah.
idea. And are we going to go with flooded suction pumps, or are we going to go with submersibles, or?
No, they are going to still be, it is going to be a dry well. They're going to be sitting outside. And there, we are putting in a rail system so you can move the pumps and take them off the face of the pump, move the motors and take them off the face of the pump and maintain them much easier than the existing pumps. James, what am I missing? Okay.
Like what kind of system? Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, that station's been in service for a long time. It's needed work for a while. Thank you, that's all I had.
Okay. I want to make one comment, very simple one, which is, this is, as I read it, and Pat, please confirm, this is not fixing a broken system, but taking care of looking to the future, upgrade or replacement, especially with consideration of being able to effectively maintain the operation. From my visit and tour, thanks to James Henry, I came away very impressed with the cleanliness, the quality of the operation, the effectiveness of the maintenance, and so on. And I will add a little toot, which is my background is in chemical engineering, and so I was looking at it with the eye of a chemical engineer as I was going through there, and I was very impressed with it. So I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, if you walked in there and didn't realize how old it was, you wouldn't think that there was anything the matter with the station because of how well the guys take care of the station.
So are we, at this point,
Well,
And yet,
so
please.
Is it 50 years old, is that right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Good time for some.
Yeah, but those pumps have been rebuilt many, many, many times. But the bodies on the pumps are starting probably pretty wore out. We've rehabbed them quite a few times and. Nope. Well, we can hear you, but they'll be able to hear. Yeah.
any other thoughts, comments? Anyone?
Just one other thing. So, do we think we're closer with the total project cost now?
Yeah, so total project costs, of course, have gone up. We are going to submit a request for additional funding from Cal OES. We're coming in about $1 million less than what the initial grant was written for. We have been told there is additional funding in that disaster request, so we're going to let them finish the phase one stuff and then also request additional funding.
Yeah, hopefully we're closer on the estimate, the
Yeah.
engineer's estimate on this than we have on other stuff in the past. Anyway, barring any more conversation on this, I'll move item E2 for staff recommendation.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any other comments? Jory, would you please call the roll vote?
Yes. Director Bender?
Yes.
Director Beitman?
Yes.
Director Couch?
Yes.
Director Orsini?
Yes.
Director Mayo also has his hand raised. He just put it up.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Director Mayo. We recognize your raised hand as an affirmative vote.
Or did you want to talk?
Or do you want to talk?
Yeah, his
His
mic
mic is
Yeah,
muted.
Dennis, you are still muted.
Hey, Dennis?
Maybe he was just raising his hand to vote yes.
Or he's maybe saying hi.
Yeah, okay. All right, the hand is down, so,
Here we go.
Oh, there, oh,
no, we don't
Thanks,
have,
Dennis.
we don't have a face, all right.
oh, he's unmuted, oh, muted back, okay.
All right. Next item on our agenda is item E3, to adopt Resolution 2024-26, accepting the appointments of Directors Binder and Orsini in lieu of election, and schedule a special meeting of the Board Secretary to administer the oath of office. And there are two attachments for that. One is the correspondence with the Humboldt County Office of Elections, and attachment 2 is Resolution 2024-26. I'd like to invite Pat Kasperi to give us the, or is it Joy? Joy, do you want to do the presentation on this, please?
Thank you, Director Beitman. So, this item, there have been since it was put in the packet, there has been a little bit of a shift, but I'll go through the discussion and touch those points. On November 5th, 2024, the general election took place. At that time, the MCSD Board of Director positions did not go to an election, as there was an insufficient number of candidates for such an election to take place. Directors Binder and Orsini had returned the appropriate election material by the deadline. On December 3rd, 2024, it was expected for the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors to officially appoint Directors Binder and Orsini in lieu of election. It now looks like that will not happen until next Tuesday, December 10th. The directors would, by our schedule, officially assume office on December 6th, 2024, and hold their position until December 1st, 2028, the first Friday in December. It was planned to adopt Resolution 2024-26 tonight, but with the changes in this Board of Supervisors schedule, that will be a little bit different, and we will schedule a special meeting. Staff would like to congratulate Scott Binder and Greg Orsini as they continue their service to the ratepayers of the McKinleyville Community Services District. A special meeting will be scheduled to facilitate the administering of the oath of office by the Board Secretary to Director Binder and Director Orsini for their new term. Because of the shift in the schedule of the Board of Supervisors, the date and time suggested by staff for this meeting is now December 11th at 3 p.m. We'll put that on as a suggestion. Staff recommend that the Board of Directors review the attached information. We're going to have to bring Resolution 2024-26 back, but the recommendation now is to set a date for a special meeting for the Board Secretary to administer the oath of office.
Hey, Jim.
Okay.
Can I propose that we postpone this, come up with a date for a meeting and then just postpone this item?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Is it okay with other members of the board?
Good with me.
And is that staff's wish too? Then I'll move that we postpone this item, come up with a date for the special meeting, and then address it at that time.
May I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Joey, would you call the roll, please?
Director Binder just unmuted himself, maybe to vote.
Yes.
Director Binder?
Yes.
Director Beitman?
Yes.
Director Couch?
Yes.
Director Orsini?
Yes.
It has been moved, seconded, and approved that we postpone this item until we have a better fix on the date on which to hold a special meeting.
And Director Mayo does have his hand raised.
Oh, okay. Director Mayo, do you wish to speak?
I think he's just voting by
Or is
raising
that
his
just
hand.
a vote by raising his hand?
Waving at us.
Okay. We'll consider a motion to postpone this item to have passed.
And I will reach out with a date and time to get a quorum together, and we'll make it happen. Thank you.
So, Chair?
Go ahead.
So we'll wait and find out whether they approve it at the next meeting, at the next Board of Supervisors meeting. And if that's the case, then we'll, I'm pretty booked up the 11th and the 12th, but I'm good on the 13th. Unless we do it during the day.
I'll be out of town on the 13th. So.
Oh, will you?
He's talking about doing it at 3 in the afternoon.
That would work, that would work for me.
Yeah, the hope would be to do it during the day.
Okay.
Okay.
But 3, yeah.
Any other thoughts or comments on?
Are we, can I, one more thing?
Of
Are we
course.
going to bird dog the county to make sure it makes it on the agenda?
I'm actively watching for the December 10th agenda to come out. So,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Please.
Okay, was there any reason given for the omission of this item from Tuesday's agenda?
So I, last week, spoke to the Office of Elections, and they said, oh yeah, we're expected to certify it at the Office of Elections and take it to the Board of Supervisors. Watched the Board of Supervisors agenda, didn't see it, and then called today and was under the understanding that they had covered it yesterday, but then saw information on the Office of Elections website that it is going to be on next Tuesday's agenda for the Board of Supervisors. And looking through the documentation currently on the Board of Supervisors website and agenda information, it did not exist.
Is that Supervisor Madrone, Steve's iPhone? Do we think? Do we know?
Don't know.
Maybe he, yeah. I'm sure if it was, he would raise his hand.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is Supervisor Madrone. Yeah, it didn't make it to the agenda. I think it's because there was still just a couple ballots to count and finalize, but it is on the December 10th agenda.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none, I'd like to close that item and move on from there to agenda item F, which is reports, starting first with active committee reports. And starting with Parks and Recreation Committee, I'd like to call on Director Bender for that.
I have nothing further to add to Director Messmer's report.
Thank you. For the area fund,
Did not meet.
okay. And I'm the one for Redwood Region Economic Development Commission, and I was out of town and I did not attend that meeting. So far as I know, there were no action items on their agenda. McKinleyville Senior Center Board, Director Bender.
Okay, we're in full Christmas mode across the hallway, and we have our holiday boutique out. We're cleaning out our mini barn, which is located behind the library, and we have a lot of Christmas stuff in there that we're rolling in as we sell down our stock. It's been very successful. I'm encouraging people, the public, no age limits here, to come in and come in often because the stock does change a lot. We've got a lot of vintage, handmade and even some modern stuff, but most of it's fairly vintage that came from estate sales that were donated to us. And this is an awful fun project for us, and we've made a lot of nice new connections in there. Other than that, I have nothing really to report. Oh, I do have something to report. In January, starting in mid-January, we're going to be starting a once per week line dancing class for our seniors, and we're pretty excited about that too. So that's all I've got.
Sounds good.
Are we going to have the paramedics on hand?
Shame on you.
I don't know. The fire department's just across the field. They can run pretty quick too.
Okay. Audit and Finance Committee, we did not meet, did we?
Have we met since the last meeting? No,
No,
no, we did not meet.
we did not meet. Employee negotiations, Director Couch.
Well, we had a meeting and we have this brown envelope here that we're going
Okay.
to do at the end of the session, so that's all I'll say.
Okay, thank you. McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee.
We did not meet.
Did not meet. McKinleyville Community Forest Committee. Again, I was out of town and I was not there, but I assume that Director Orsini was there.
Yeah, we took care of, in the, I believe that, yeah, in the consent calendar, we took care of one item that was part of that, appointing Nancy Morelli as an alternate, and then affirming the board support of the existing memorandums for the two mountain bike groups. So those things were handled at it. We had a report from the Forest Management Plan Committee, and I think they're working on getting together a sort of a scope or a sort of direction, internal directions for them of what sort of things they're going to do. We had a report from the Trails Committee, and we approved that's the Trails Association, and then we approved the Cal VTP, Cal Fire grant.
And what will that grant provide?
It's for, I'll let Pat handle that.
It's a CAL FIRE Forest Health Grant. It would help us to implement the Cal VTP, or Vegetative Treatment Program. So there's a shaded fuel break that we intend to do, if that grant gets funded, around at the edge of the forest, the interface between the forest and the surrounding community, as well as along Murray Road, as well as along some of the trails in the community forest. And we are teaming up with Green Diamond, and Green Diamond is also going to go into and put a shaded fuel break on the next ridge over between us and Fieldbrook. And both of them are also going to do vegetative thinning throughout ours, as well as Green Diamond's forest up there.
I believe, it was my understanding, I believe that has been mapped out.
Yeah, Green Diamond is doing all the heavy lifting on mapping out where exactly. One of the constraints is we had 5 years to spend the money, so we want to make sure we can do all the work within that 5 years. It's a $7 million cap on the grant. I don't think we'll reach that cap, but we're also looking at that too, to make sure we can stay within the grant amount.
Please.
And I didn't even think about asking this during the committee meeting. So are there, if we're awarded that grant funding, are there contractors that are capable of doing that work, or how are we going to accomplish that work?
Yes, there are contractors who can do that work. We are, Green Diamond can do that work or contract out that work. going to lean heavily on them. One of the limitations, though, is time, and so we might. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. So we might, in Humboldt County Resource Conservation District, who's actually going to be the lead agency on that grant, may contract directly with other contractors to do that work. If Green Diamond just doesn't think they have enough staff or time or equipment to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, might be one of those things to where we have to have multiple contractors to actually get that done, because there's a lot of area there that's going to need to be gone through. Thank you.
Just as a, Pat, if you wouldn't mind, as a quick explanation, what are we, when we start talking about a shaded reduction, or what's the language, what does that mean?
So a shaded fuel break is where they go in and they leave the big trees, but take down the smaller diameter trees and, 10-inch and smaller breast diameter trees, and as well as clear out all the brush and the understory fuel. So it turns it much more into a park-like setting and allows to make sure there's a break between, the regular forest and the homes, and allows an area for if the wildfire were to break out, to mobilize equipment through, so you can move through that area more quickly and stage people there, et cetera.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from anybody regarding this? Okay. What's our?
Community Water Task Force.
Yeah, okay, the next one is the municipal, Muni Water Task Force, and that's,
We did not meet.
did not meet. Oh, that simplifies that report. Okay. Does that complete the active committee reports? Okay. Can we move on to any legislative and regulatory reports? And I don't know whether Director Mayo has typically spoken on that, but I don't know whether he's able to speak through this connection.
Well, talk. Is there any way to do that from this end?
Does anyone else have anything to report on
I have nothing else to report.
this? Okay.
Just a thought. Am I unmuted?
You are.
You are, yes.
Hey, well, I will say that we are making lots of contacts down here at the Aqua Conference, working on legislative, not only federal, but state legislative issues. And I'll have a better report about that. I've got my tickets already bought to the Aqua DC conference in the first of the year time, and I've got 20 appointments already. So we'll update that when I'm physically there. I don't know whether I'll be able to chime in again or not, but I wanted to say, if this is foil, Joey, I will raise my hand for a yes vote, and I won't raise my hand for a no vote if I can't speak, and I hope that's okay. Thank you all.
Thank you. That's how we've interpreted the signs that you've given us so far. So it sounds like we've been okay.
Yeah, just to make sure everything's kosher. Per 2449, you do have to have your video running if you're attending remotely. So I don't know that we can count Director Mayo's votes, but everything passed and he was voting yes along with the rest of the board. So I don't know that it really
Yeah,
matters.
but without his video on.
Am I back on?
You are.
Well, I have been able to see this and hear you completely. You just haven't been able to hear my comments occasionally. So however you want to do it, I understand.
You have to have your video on so that you're present in the room, not just your audio.
Well, I'm watching the meetings. I'm hearing every word you're saying, and I don't know how to interpret that, and not to be argumentative, guys. I'm just giving you the facts as I know them, and do whatever you think. If you need to discount my votes, do so.
Staff will sort it out.
He also needs to attest.
Attest to what?
Part of having
I'm a
the
happy
video
camper.
No, the spiel that Joey gives us when we attend on via teleconference.
Well, I don't know what that is, but I attest to everything.
Okay.
Thank you all. I'd like at this time to move on to staff reports, and we start with Finance and Administration Department with Samantha Howard, please.
As I indicated in my report, we had our audit the week of November 18th. It being my very first one that I've ever done in my entire life, I think it went fairly well. There is some just residual work that I'm still working on, but they do expect to have our first draft to us at mid-January, I believe, with the final audit to be delivered in February. But yeah, it was a learning experience for sure, but it went good. So, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
I've got a comment.
Please.
I didn't want to pull the finance director's report out of the to bring this up then, so I waited till now. I very much appreciate the changes that you made during to your financial reports. I think that they've all worked out really good. Thank you very much for taking the lead from myself and Director Beitman in doing those things. It made the report a little bit easier to read, and I like having the cash flow recap on the front reflect all the enterprise funds instead of just the water department. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll echo that to the extent that it's useful, but thank you very much. Especially appreciate your, what do I say, getting your hands very solidly around the work. So thank you so much.
Yeah, the notations are real. I really like having the notations in the ledger for the cash recap and all those. So thank you very much.
Of course, I think other staff were definitely like, why are you asking all these questions? But it worked out well, so thank you.
Good. All right. Where am I in this? The next staff report would be James Henry from Operations.
I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Kirsten, are you still with us?
I am. I also have nothing further to add.
Okay, thank you. And General Manager Pat Kaspari, do you have?
I will just say that the 4.5 million gallon tank construction is proceeding. It's been really nice to have these last few weeks of nice weather. It very much has helped to get the work to continue. But other than that, I have nothing further to add.
Yeah, they had a few days where they could test the way the runoff worked on the place there, didn't they?
Did it pass the test?
Things ran off.
Yeah.
Things ran off, okay.
Yeah, that was tongue in cheek. Things aren't supposed to run off.
All right. Is Supervisor Madrone still online with us?
He is, and he has his hand raised.
Yeah, his hand raised. What I'd like to do is first, I think, ask Scott, the President Scott Binder, if he has anything to say in terms of the President's report, and then after that, we'll turn it over to Supervisor Madrone if he can come through to us.
Okay, I can do that. Since we didn't have a 2x2 or a pre-board this last 4 weeks for me, all I have is the Aqua Conference, which I'm at down here in beautiful Palm Desert. It's going really well. If you don't count the 3-hour delay at SFO, we did get in pretty late on Monday evening. I'm still worn out. But yesterday I did attend the local government committee meeting as well as the communication committee meetings. And I got to hang out with some of the communications people that I see in little square boxes sometimes, but only twice a year in person. Today I went to a couple of different presentation. One was on Sigma, the last 10 years, and what happened good and what happened bad, and what's going to be happening with that going forward. I also attended an agency awareness and communication seminar with the communication committee, and that focused on campaigns that went especially well in terms of outreach. And Western Water had a great presentation, and they had a great social media campaign that drew 1.4 million impressions and had over 1,000 unique visitors that did do click through to visit their website. So that was really neat to see. And of course, I also attended the Region 1 board meeting this afternoon. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Pat, did I skip over your report? I didn't think so.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Scott, thank you very much. And Supervisor Madrone, would you? Oh, yeah. Would you care to speak?
Yes, thank you, Director Brightman. I'll be very brief. I just want to thank the voters of McKinleyville and the county for their support for the McKinleyville school bonds. That's really wonderful to see that support for our children, our teachers, as well as support for Measure O, which is going to really be a game changer for our county roads. So just want to ask or offer that thank you to everybody. I know it's not easy times to want to tax ourselves. And other than that, I have nothing else to report. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your report, and I thank you especially for pointing out those two very important items on the recent vote. That means a lot to our community to have that kind of support. So, at this point, I'll go to item F5, which is any board member comments, announcements, reports, or requests for agenda items for the future. Okay, great, please.
Yeah, I just want to report that I received my flume promptly after let's see, as soon as I read the newsletter, I ordered it and I got it, I'd say within probably a week, less 2 weeks. As soon as I installed it, it took it reimbursed the money onto my, like, by the time I got in the house, I looked on my credit card app and it had already reimbursed the money that I paid for it. And it had me scratching my head the other day because I had 2 hours of uninterrupted water, and I used 107 gallons of water, and Christy and I are trying to figure out what it was from, and then it dawned on me that we cleaned the gutters, and it actually picked up the fact that the hose ran for 2 hours straight, and sent me an email saying that I had abnormal use of water. So I think it's a great thing. If I would highly recommend that if you travel a lot, that you get one, install it. It was pretty easy to. It took me probably about 15 minutes to get it installed, get the bridge synced up with the head unit out at the meter, and it's working great.
How do we get more information about that?
You can jump on our website, and there is a code to be scanned in, and they are still accepting orders for flumes. Joey, I don't know how many we have left.
There are about 15 left last time I looked.
And how many were there total originally?
100.
100, so we've gone through 85 of them so far?
Yeah, and a good majority of them have been installed as well.
Right on.
Yeah, and the Flume folks are really happy with the data they're getting from McKinleyville, and they made the point of saying, yeah, it's great, to have this from a little community up on the North Coast, because we don't have that sort of data from the rest of California, so it is good to be represented.
Yeah, I just don't want Sacramento to find out and turn our water off.
Nice, nice.
I'm a Flume user myself. It told me that my toilet was leaking 2 gallons an hour. So I went down to Ace and bought a new flapper. Now it doesn't send me nasty grams.
Yeah, and one of the neat things about it is you can designate so that it emails a neighbor or a family member or something. So if you're away, it will actually contact somebody besides you if you're not paying attention to what your emails and stuff like that, and they can come and actually and so that you don't have water running out of your garage from a broken washer hose or something like that, or flooding your house out from a broken hose to your dishwasher or anything like that. So I could sort of like it, and the price is right.
I highly recommend any nuisance emails that you're ever asked to send out, sign Chris Jones up for. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I'll make sure Chris Jones gets emails. Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments or requests for agenda items or reports? Okay. In that case, I'd like us to move to, I think the time now is to move to closed session. And
So we're going to adjourn to closed session.
we're going to adjourn to closed session.
Can we have like 5 minutes?
Of course.
And for, go ahead, Joey.
And for the folks on Zoom, the directors are adjourning to closed session, so I will be removing you from the session, and it will be locked. So then they will report out of closed session at the next board meeting. Thank you very much.
And we will reconvene at the end of the closed session for the purpose of adjournment.